Hello everyone, I hope your day is going great. I just wanted to say before we begin that I have come down with a water infection, so if my voice sounds a bit dodgy or a bit wrong in this video, then that is the reason why. Also, excuse whoever's doing the fucking lawn mowing outside. I'm not happy, well, because I'm making the video, but yeah. Another thing, third thing, you know, 3 times the charm, the reason for no uploads the last few days is because I had to go down to Maudsley, which is in London, for a hospital appointment, and Maudsley's like 3 bloody hours away, so for an hour appointment and then 3 hours back, I was absolutely exhausted. That was on Friday. That is the time that I normally upload, Friday through Sunday. I was just so tired I couldn't get a video out, I'm very sorry. 4th time's the charm, I guess. I've got stick drift on my controller, so if I'm drifting all over the place in the clips, I'm very sorry. Anyways, I won't hold your ears hostage any longer. I do hope you enjoy the video. Elden Ring's long-awaited DLC is, fingers crossed, coming out very soon. We don't have a date, but I think a lot of people are expecting some kind of announcement in the very near future. But we really don't know anything a year and a half later. All we've had is one screenshot which, in true From Software fashion, left more questions than answers. In the background was a twisted and malformed Erd tree, 2 trees intertwining, a church that looks to be decaying, or perhaps some kind of ruins which, in my eyes, reminds me very heavily of the churches of Marika, though perhaps it is not for Marika. We had a torrent-esque animal being ridden by a female. A lot of things were released in this image, but so many questions also came with that. It's gotten to a point where people are starting to call the person who rides this torrent-esque animal Miquella. I don't believe this to be the case. I think this is a speculation that is derived from people having no answers. I think it's a hell of a lot more likely this is a member of the golden lineage. You've got to remember, Miquella takes his features off of Marika. Now, Marika has a lot of descendants. Now, most of the Golden Order's demigods do share features with Radhn. Miquella is an exception, just like Godwyn. And in my eyes, Godwyn is the father of the sub-branch known as the Golden Lineage. We have Godric, Godfroy, the Golden Scions. Everyone related to that, in my eyes, is related and descended from Godwyn. We know he's been around a lot longer than the other demigods, considering he's classed as the child after Morgoth and Mohg, which makes him very, very old. It would also make sense why the female on the horse is in fact very similar looking to Miquella, because Miquella takes after Marika and so does Godwyn. Hell yeah, Godwyn's descendants could take on the dormant features of Radhn, but to my knowledge how genetic works is he has taken the majority of Marika's genes and facial genes and whatnot, and that is now the dormant gene. If I am wrong, please let me know. I'm not some neuroscientist, I am not specialising in neuroscience, and I had no absolutely jack shit to do with it, but that is my understanding. The reason I call the torrent-esque animal's rider a female is due to an absolutely amazing discovery that was discovered by one of my subscribers back when I made an analysis of the Shadow of the Erd tree image. If I can find it, I will put it on the screen right now. If I can't, I am genuinely very sorry, as that discovery blew my mind, and it was before anyone started talking about it. Basically, what they discovered was there's an ancient way of riding a horse 2 ways. There's a male and a female version. The female version is actually used in the image. People then months later made a video about this, but the whole original concept of this came from one of my subscribers, and I am really thankful for you letting me know. Just wanted to say as well, a lot of people call this person Miquella because of the hairstyle, but all throughout history we know tons and tons of examples where different cultures have different ceremonial hairstyles. Perhaps this layer of braiding is just the Golden Order's version, or perhaps someone of high royalty within the Golden Order's structure, like a demigod or a god or Marika or Radhn, perhaps they are entitled to these kind of braids. That is just a theory, but so is the theory that Miquella is this character on top of this torrent-esque animal, and I think this is a lot more likely than that. But now that we've stated that Miquella might not be the actual protagonist or antagonist for the DLC, who is? And I'm going to throw something out there that to my knowledge hasn't been talked about. The lamplight. Now, the lamplight is known as a mirror of grace. It's not really known what came first, but they are very, very similar in appearance. The lamplight, at first to me, it just sounded like a neat reference to Bloodborne and the lanterns, but there's so much more to it. The lamplight is a very mysterious part of Elden Ring, and we really don't know much. What we do know is that they hold a very, very heavy connection with the deathbirds who look after and tend to graveyards, guarding them. The lamplight is a separate way that some people end up dying with. It leads those who have died to the afterlife, and it seems to be a whole entity like the Greater Will. I believe this quote-unquote Miquella's dream is in fact some kind of hub for the lamplight. Look at how many graves litter the place. These graves are, after all, graves, and these sort of transparent graves are rarely seen around the lands between. I mean, very, very rare. Alternatively, this could be the field for some sort of great battle leading up to this shadowy Erd tree. That's also a big possibility, but I really do think the lamplight has something to do with this because there is so many avenues inside of Elden Ring. From Software has canonically stated that the DLC was meant to be 2 DLCs, but they have combined the 2 together to make this one mega DLC. Perhaps there'll be more DLCs after, but the lamplight is something so interesting and important, and it's highlighted not much but enough to build intrigue that I really do think that this is going to be about the lamplight and the deathbirds. And what further enforces this? The fact that the lamplight mirrors grace. Where does grace come from? The Greater Will. And guess what? The Erd tree. The Erd tree is a parasite, as we know. It took over the Great Tree and, well, became its own thing, became the Erd tree and took control of the lands between. Now look at the tree that is located inside the Shadow of the Erd tree teaser. It looks strange, doesn't it? Well, that's because from the work of Ziostorm, he found out that there are 2 trees interlinking. But what if the second tree isn't actually a tree, but instead a parasite growing up from the roots of the original tree and consuming it? Because as we can see, and as we are told and shown by Ziostorm in his amazing discovery, we actually can see the other tree curling around the original. Seems a bit familiar, doesn't it? This reminds me so much of the Erd tree, and I think it is very, very likely that this lamplight is in fact taking some parasital form and taking over this once great tree. What's even scarier and more disturbing about this is we don't know the motivations of the lamplight. We have all sorts of information on the motivations of the Greater Will and its subordinates, but what about the lamplight? The deathbirds are mysterious and we get hardly any information on them. All we're really told is that they are guarding graveyards. They are so coolly designed and they have had so much care put into them, and while that's the same for a lot of enemies, not to the degree of the lamplights, it makes you wonder that perhaps they're building up for something. And we will get into that, don't you worry. We have never actually seen the lamplight. I've seen a lot of people talking that the tree is in fact Deathblight, and I don't dissuade that, but you've also got to consider, what is the Deathblight? What is it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the Deathblight is in fact the lamplight. We have not seen the core of either. We have not seen the direct roots. Not to mention both deal with death and are very similar, being that they transport things into new life or a new afterlife in a sense. They are very similar, and I would not be surprised if they were the same thing. And the texture of the lamplight enemies and the attacks very heavily remind me of the Deathblight attacks. They have that same texture. While it's more of a blue colour with the lamplight, it's a golden colour with the Deathblight. Perhaps the reason it's a golden colour is because the Deathblight originated with Godwyn, and Godwyn is obviously a demigod of the golden lineage and of Marika's blood and of the greater will, so perhaps that separate outer god's power fused with the lamplight, creating what we know today as the death blight and those who live in death. This video has been an absolute pleasure to make. I love talking and theorising about Elden Ring's future content and content that's already in the game. It's one of my favourite pastimes, along with making YouTube videos. I really do hope this video gave you something to think about and gave you the opportunity to consider some new possibilities for Elden Ring's DLC, because like anything with From Software, it is never as it seems. There is always some hidden motive, always some hidden meaning towards something, and I think people really need to understand that about this teaser image. And when we eventually do get some kind of teaser trailer or a full-on trailer, I think everyone needs to understand that as well and take that into consideration, apart from just assuming things at first glance. This is the end of the video now. Popping up on the screen right now will be some of our past Elden Ring videos. I think we almost have nearly 50 Elden Ring lore videos, so if you're new to the channel and haven't caught up on those, make sure to go and watch those, because there's hours upon hours of content. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel and lets me know you enjoy this style of content. Anyways, I hope you all do have a great rest of your day. I am sorry for the squeaky bloody chair. Trust me, if I could help it, I would. I've had to redo a lot of voice lines for this video because of it, and I'm very sorry. May you all find your worth in the waking world. Goodbye everyone.